Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Are we good? Volume's good? Okay, we got the thumb, so we're good to go. So good morning. We are live, as you can see. Today, we are talking about social media specifically, which is like, as you guys know, this huge, massive beast of a thing for our industry and our business. But today, we're going to break it down and specifically be talking about social media and how it applies to the salon world. So if you don't know, I own Prim and Proper Salon. We're in Southern California in Riverside. And I've owned the salon about 10 years now, so there's been lots of things I've learned along the way about social media and what works for me and what doesn't. And so I'm gonna share a little bit of that info with you guys today. So as always, if you're watching this live, great. Feel free to interrupt me anytime because Unite is letting me go live, which can always be wild and get me rambling on and on. So if you have a question in the middle, please feel free to write it in. I'm happy to answer it. If you're watching this after the fact and you have any questions about anything that I'm saying, comment, DM us. We're happy to answer any questions. If there's something you'd like to see more of on these lives, we'd love to know that too. Today, we're gonna try to keep it short and sweet and just really specific to about social media and salons. So we know everyone's busy. You can just tune in real quick whenever you have time. And I'm gonna really give you some good information about what works for me in the salon. So like I said, I've owned a salon for 10 years now. Luckily for me, my salon has been full probably 90% of the time with stylists. So that is important because anything to do with social media, you want to know your why, right? Like, why are we posting? What am I trying to attract? And if your salon is full, then obviously you're not trying to attract new stylists. You're just trying to keep the ones you have. So I want you to bear that in mind when I go into what I do, what works for me with social media. So, like I was saying, you want to know your why. So if you're just posting just to post, like, look at me today, look at this beautiful drive, look at how cool the salon is, that's totally all good, but then that's a hobby. You're not doing that to grow your business or produce any results. So I think in social media, there's a whole bunch of different avenues you can take. So there's the entertainment, which is what I was just saying. So you're using your social media just for fun. There is influencers, which we all know about influencers. So they have their own set of whys. You're trying to get in with a brand. So that is a specific area of social media where you're gonna have a different why than a stylist behind the chair. I think at the end of this live, I'm gonna give a couple tidbits because, as you know, we're headed to Miami Swim Week. So maybe at the very end of this live, I'll give a couple tips for stylists that want to maybe get posted by Unite's social media or Unite TV, some things you can do to help Mike, our camera person, out with product placement. And then the fourth thing would be you're a salon owner or you rent a booth in a salon and you're wanting to grow your business. So that has its specific set of whys. So that's the one we're talking about today. So for me as a salon owner, when I'm posting, the three most important things or the things I'm trying to do with my social media are either keep the stations full with stylists, which I already told you I've been lucky enough to keep the salon full, but that is the first option. The second option is keeping my stylists busy that are in my salon, so attracting new clients. And then the third why is educating the clients about products and ultimately helping me sell the products. So the more educated someone can be about products online, the more likely they are to purchase them. So the first one. If I owned a salon and I was trying to get stylists in the chair, then I would be posting things like our culture, what we do outside of the salon, what education we're doing inside the salon, what different people specialize in. Because as a salon owner, I don't want just the chairs full. I want them full of people that I actually like to work with that are doing good hair. So that means that personality matters, what we're doing inside and outside the salon matters. So you're gonna post a lot of that. So when I first opened, I expanded the salon. I needed to get some new stylists, and that really was key. We did dress-up days, which we still do to today. I would interview the stylist like on their favorite product or, what they're doing for Mother's Day or, whatever, what their favorite hairstyle is, so that each person can kind of get an idea of who works in the salon. That way, if you were to get one of those booths, like you're not surprised by who you're working with. And then also like images and pictures of the salon. So, like, oh, if I worked here, I would have this space and this is what the back room looks like. And oh my gosh, there's a receptionist or stuff like that. So I've always had really good success about getting stylists that fit my team based on what I promote on social media. And I don't always post a lot of that because, like I said, I've been lucky enough to have the stations full. But I do have stylists that follow the page just, in case there's an opening or, something like that. So I definitely increase those kind of postings when I'm going to have a space available or am looking for a new stylist. So that's the first thing, which is getting stylists in the salon. The second side of social media for a salon owner is keeping your stylists that are there busy, which for me is the most important thing. And after 10 years, my page, the salon page, not my hairdresser page, but my salon page is super easy to run now because I have 20 stylists and they all post their own content. So Prim and Proper Salon's page can literally just become a repost page, so to speak. So each of these stylists are going to post their own things on their page, and as long as they follow my guidelines, I can repost them on the page, which means the customer, when they're looking at the salon page, it becomes very easy to figure out which stylist they want to go to based on what's being posted. So there's a couple ways that I can do that. So the biggest thing that we've been doing lately within the last year, I would say, is collaboration. So you see us do it on Unite TV as well. Honestly, all the brands are doing it now. But like if one of my stylists posts a reel per se, or maybe like a photo carousel or anything like that, if they collaborate with the salon, it goes onto Prim and Proper's page as well as their page. So now it's getting exposure in two places. So Prim and Proper Salon's page has a little bit more exposure than most of my stylists, not all, but most of my stylists' page. So now that's bringing more traffic to them and their page, and also bringing new traffic to the salon page. And also it's like a full, as the page starts to fill up, it's like having pictures and you're like, ooh, I want my hair like that, I'm gonna go to this person. So that's been a new thing we've been doing, and it's been working really great. Prior to collaboration, I would have to either get a separate app like the Repost app, or I would have to screenshot their stuff and then repost it on my page, which was much more difficult. This is way easier, and it's actually working out really, really well for us. So I would say if you don't know how to do that, it's really simple, and then you get it in two places at once, which is great. So my salon page now for the stylist becomes, like I said, more like a repost of their work. It's like an online gallery. So I have a bubble for each of the stylists, so you can easily, as a client, go up and you're like, okay, oh, Bobby, what does he do? It's got like a little bit about him, and then I reposted maybe like 10 of his stories inside that bubble. So easy to find. You can scroll through all 20 of the stylists, see who does what, who specializes in what, to get them more clients. Now, the only caveat to that is that stylists that are more busy typically aren't posting as much because they're not looking for new clients, right? So they do post, but the salon page is definitely focuses more on the stylists who post more. So I would say if you're a stylist inside the salon and you want to get posted more, make sure you're posting yourself, because otherwise, like, I'm not going to beg, So that's the best way to promote on my salon the stylist, is by reposting their work. Now, my salon setup is like a hybrid model. So I have a lot of booth renters, and then I have some commissioned stylists that work for the salon. And that fluctuates over time. Sometimes there's way more commission than booth rent, and vice versa. But right now, I'm really heavy booth renters, less commission stylists. So what?
Nothing, I just kicked their audience.
Mike's always messing up my flow. No, but yes. So if as a salon, I'm trying to promote people that specifically work for the salon. Another thing that's worked really great for me is sponsoring a post through Instagram. So some tips for that are, you want a really clear, clean photo of what you're doing. So for example, right now that Leslie bib, really short bob is super popular. So if I specialized in that, I would take a picture of a client or get a model and do a photo with that specific look. And then Instagram, I can pay them to promote it for me, which is going to give it a wider reach. So it'll get out to more people. So the thing that has worked the best for me in this area is specific pricing on the photo. So that doesn't mean you have to give a deal. That doesn't mean you have to be like, oh, half price for this haircut. What it means is clear pricing. So when a new client sees Prim and Proper Salon's page, they might be like, ooh, I don't know if I can afford that. When you have clear pricing on there, they know exactly what's going to be. So if your haircut is $125, you're going to put $125 right on there, so they know if I come in and get that haircut, it's going to cost that price. Every single time I've done that, the phone has rang and it's made me my money back from the post plus some. So when I don't put the clear direct price on there, it does not work as well. So I know that works. So that's like a really good tip, is just to put the price right on there. Now, if you want to give a deal, great, then put it on there. Put like 20% off of haircuts, but still put the price, because they still, if they don't know what your original price is, they're like 20% off of 500 is still more than I want to pay, right? So that pricing right on there, I mean, every time it works. So also, I would not be posting the Leslie bib haircut if I did not actually want to do that haircut. Like if I'm a long hair specialist, why would I waste my time promoting anywhere on my page stuff that I don't want to do? So that's a piece of advice for stylists, like really post the work you want to do. So that's a way that I make sure my stylists are busy in the salon. If a stylist is slower and they're reaching out to me for, advice or help, then we'll work together on things they can post that, like I said, I could share. But I think as a salon owner with renters, that is just important to keep them happy and full of clients as it is the stylist that I'm actually making money on for their sales. So I think it's like way easier to keep the people you have than constantly have to be rebuilding your team. So as a salon owner, that's my number one thing with social media, is keeping everybody happy and busy. So whatever I can do to reach those goals. So that's the first two as a salon owner. Then the third thing is products. So retail. So it literally makes no sense to keep shelves full of products that aren't going to sell. So the first thing I do is make sure that we are carrying products that my stylists actually want to sell. So that they use themselves, that are their favorite products. I promise you at home, every single one of my stylists is using 4 or 5 products a day without even thinking about it. So not telling your clients what you're actually using on yourself is gatekeeping. So you want to share what you're using. That's not pressure selling anybody. That's like sharing a fun fact with a friend, right? So we don't do any of the pressure selling at the salon. And even still, we're able to push a lot of products. Now, I know the industry is kind of changing as far as like what people believe in keeping in stock and et cetera. I literally only stock what we're gonna sell. And it works for me. So, I mean, at the beginning when I first opened, selling products sometimes paid my entire rent just off of that. Now, like I said, with influencers and things changing, that ebbs and flows to how it is, but that was never my point. The purpose of having products is so that my clients have good hair, right? So their hair stays healthy, or the color stays good, so I'm not having to redo it later, or we're regrowing back hair from COVID. Here's the product from that, or whatever solution I'm trying to fix. That's why I carry the product, but the benefit is income. So it kind of like works for both. To me, it's a win-win. So that's just staying on top of, education and what products you're using and all of that stuff. So as far as social media goes, I have a receptionist, and she or my assistants, one of the two, post, daily things about products, little fun facts, unboxings, stuff like that, just so that, or me doing my own hair or a stylist doing their own hair using the product. I use a lot of my content from Unite TV to repost hair hacks onto the page so that, clients come in and they're like, oh, I saw that video, but tell me what it does, and then it makes it easier to sell the product at the end. So, but I'm really not good at selling. So this is not about like pushing a product or anything like that. It's just educating my clients. But I think that's an important part of social media for a salon owner, is making sure that people know your business is selling these products and kind of who you align with. And that sort of changes over time, like what products I carry. I've had Unite for 10 years now, but we carry the full line. Obviously, I'm super educated in Unite, so it's easy for me to tell people, what to use. My stylist can come up to me and pick my brain at any time about what products to use and etc. So I definitely think you should be doing that on your salon pages, telling a little bit about what you have. It's just another way. And then brands might even reach out to you as a salon because they know that you're selling their product, which gets you more education, gets you exposure, all sorts of different things. So if you're not doing that, I think that's, another great aspect. So I've been blabbing on and on, Mike. How am I doing?
You do have a question.
Yay, a question. I love a question.
So what advice would you give for a stylist that says that they don't have time to take content?
Okay, I get that. I feel that. I actually book pretty close together and really don't have time for content. But if you're telling me that you're not busy, or if your stylist is coming up to you and they're saying they have time to fill, then those two things don't go together. Like, how can you not have time for content, but you're also looking for new clients? It just doesn't work. So if you're busy, but you're trying to take content, then my advice would be like the little, I don't even have it on here, but the little Octobuddies that can go on the back of your phone. So you could just place it on your mirror and record as you go. We call that B-roll, right? That's what we call it? Yeah. Yeah, so you just create that and then you can do voiceover later. And honestly, one client in your chair with that B-roll, you can make endless things. We talk about it here at Unite TV all the time. Even if we didn't film any more at all, we could probably go through all of our old stuff, even these lives, and make 10 TikTok videos off of them or whatever. So I do get it. It is, the time thing is a big thing, but if you're not busy, you have to make the time, and you should have the time. If you are busy and you're looking to explore different options, then it's kind of that work smarter, not harder, set up a tripod and then make B-roll later or take that B-roll later and make voice over, or hand your client the phone and ask them to take a couple selfies. I was talking about collaborating with stylists on the page. Well, that's one of the things, the cover photo has to be good, the image has to be clear. So it is pretty easy to just say, hey, could you go take a few pictures for me? And if your client wants to do it, great. If they don't want to do it, fine. But there is ways to make time to do things just by propping your phone up.
I think the editing would be the most time consuming for somebody that's not necessarily holding that skill set, right? So that could be the apprehension. But correct me if I'm wrong, it's pretty common for salons to have that sort of the front desk person, and now they're also, in your case, taking content. So maybe
if you're lucky enough to work at a salon that has a front desk person, because I know a lot of people are alleviating that because of the cost of it. You can book online, you don't need it. I could not live without my Michelle, so thank you, Michelle. I would die. She was sick 2 days this week, and I was like, this place is falling apart. So for me, it's, that's never going away, but I know a lot of salons don't do that. Editing is a total pain in the ass. There's no other way around it. So I would say the best thing to conquer that is not to do just an endless running thing, because then you have to go back and edit that down. But okay, I'm gonna do a video about balayage. So I need a clip of maybe me putting the foils in, and then I need a clip of little bite-sized clips that you can put together are much easier. And if you're really trying to get into social media, you have to get good at editing, because especially when you first start out, there's nobody editing for you. Like you have to learn it, and it makes you more marketable to everyone knowing how to do that. Like I love Splice. I know, Francisco, you use what, CapCut? CapCut. These are really easy, simple ways to edit. I mean, CapCut specifically has trending audio with templates. So you can literally just upload your things and it breaks it up for you. So there is easier ways, and obviously as you get more advanced, you know, you can do those things, but the editing, yeah, there's no way around that. But right now, carousels are big on Instagram. So literally you just have to take a few pictures, like, okay, here I am shampooing. Okay, here's this. And then, you know, break that up, put text over it, or literally just post the carousels. So I don't know, some things that people get hung up on are for sure the editing, which we just gave tips for. Imposter syndrome, which honestly should never be a thing with a salon page. I get it with like a personal page because you feel like you're not being authentically yourself. It's really hard. I mean, I get that totally. But with your salon page, I think not getting hung up on who you are personally, and also not getting hung up on like the aesthetic of the whole thing. Like literally just post your work and have it be good and clean and represent you well. And that's all you need to do. So I think we get in our heads a little bit. Me too. I have a whole camera roll full of, you know, stuff to be edited that'll probably never, it'll just die there. But you know, it is what it is. But big time. If you're not busy, you have the time. So if you are busy and you're trying to explore other options, like I don't want to just be behind the chair, I want to work with brands, or I want to be an educator, or I want to be an influencer, then you have to just make the time, which I literally know it's like impossible. And you're like, oh, I'm giving up this income to try to go there. So you just have to, you know, pull the plug, I guess, make the time.
Brings us to our next question here.
Okay.
What advice would you give for a stylist wanting to repost on a brand's page?
Okay, so every brand is totally different. Me personally, if I was trying to, we'll start with Unite. If I was trying to have Unite TV or Unite Hair post my work, I would definitely make sure that obviously I'm using the product. And if it can give a person a little bit like of knowledge about what the product does. So like, okay, I want Unite to post me, so I'm gonna do Boost to Spray. I'm gonna literally say, this is Boost to Spray. Look, now I'm spraying it in her hair. Wow, look what it does, you know? So something like that. If it's just a video of how pretty your color is, and maybe there's a product in the back, you're probably not gonna get posted or reposted because we don't do color. So why are we gonna post, you know, we're not a color line, we're a product line. So those specific things will help. I think in general, if you're wanting to work with the brand, so you're moving past like just stylish, you're wanting to get into like creating content, you know, that kind of stuff, then even if the brand isn't sponsoring you, just start making videos and tag them in it. They're not always gonna repost you, and then you can send your little PR email and, you know, reach out that way. But like, they're not always gonna repost you. But if they see you're making good content, they might reach out to you and be like, hey, I saw you have curly hair, and we really need a curly hair video. If we send you a product, can you make us this video? Or, you know, something like that. The more you post different products and different videos, the better you get at editing, and the more brands will see that you're not only creating content for them, but you're creating content for other brands as well. So it's kind of like a little bit of fake it till you make it, you know? But specifically with Unite, it's like brand focused. You have to be using the product, maybe talking about why. Yeah. Now, I said I was going to talk a little bit about Miami, so maybe I'll jump in with that now. So if you're going to Miami Swim Week, or if you're ever working New York Fashion Week or anything where Mike, do you want me to talk about this? Or you want to talk about it? Okay. You jump in. You jump in. You already told me you wanted to do the live. Okay, so if you see Mike or any cameraman in general coming up to you and you're, you know, using Unite, obviously we're using Unite, not only do you want to be using it, but like this does nothing for Mike, right? Like, yeah, I'm cute. my hair looks good, but like it does nothing for the brand, right? So it's really easy when you see him just to turn the nozzle and have the brand facing out. And if he sees you doing that, like it's like a magnet, he's gonna come to you. So the more you can be aware of where your brand, you know, is actually, and sometimes it's tricky, I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes you have to pretend to be ambidextrous, do whatever you need to do, but it's a 2-second shot. And the models love it too. They're like, ooh, now you've got this cameraman around you. And not everybody wants to be an influencer and not everybody wants to be on camera. So just doing that signals to Mike that you want to be photographed. So that is big, turning the brand out. Also, like your appearance. So I know we're working like super duper hard backstage, but if you don't have any makeup on, if your hair's not done, if you literally look like you rolled out of bed, that's totally fine. But you're probably not going to get the same exposure as someone who's gonna show up fully put together every single day with comfortable shoes on. But yeah, so like those are just simple things you can do. You can also just tell Mike, like, hey, if you're around, I'd like some content, or not for yourself, but like, I'm interested in being on camera. Then, you know, note to self, he knows, because there's some people that we walk up to them and we're like, hey, can we ask you a quick question? And they're like, ugh, like they don't want nothing to do with it. So it's just better to know, you know what, but the brand out is the biggest thing. And then obviously if you're using the product, it's good to know what the product does. So that way, if they were to, you know, say Stacy's with him and they want to ask you a quick question about Boost a hairspray, you could answer like, hey, why are you using that? Oh, I love the volume it creates when I spray it, you know, or the lasting hold, or whatever little quick tidbit. But we don't have time to be like coaching everyone through it, so it's nice to just be prepared. But the brand out is like the best way to start. Did I get it?
100%. And I think you touched on something at the end that's great. Like, if
Mike's on camera. Look.
So everybody knows what I look like, so in case you do want to be on camera. But yeah, like anything that's brand that'll bring out our logo or have any brand recognition will help me gravitate toward you for footage. And then toward the end, you had mentioned that, like, I already forgot where I was going with this.
What you
which
wear?
is why I don't go on camera. But yeah, so like, yeah, what you're wearing and being put together is going to be great. But like little tidbits, like a lot of times we're going to want to come get some sound bites from people that talk about your favorite product and things like that. So have something in the back of your mind. If you're new to using our products, just take notes throughout the whole time you're there. Make little mental notes, like you're seeing somebody use this and it's giving great volume. So just latch onto that little soundbite, and the shorter the sweeter for social media, obviously. So yeah, if you are with us in Miami and you want to be on camera, tell me immediately, and I'll make an extra effort to make that happen.
And he's usually at, you guys are doing Runway Ready, yeah?
We are, yeah.
Okay, so he's always at Runway Ready. Like, it's very easy to go up to him and just be like, hey, I'm so-and-so. I mean, that's what it's really all about, is the connections you're making and the things you get to do when you're working backstage. And so if that's something you're interested in, you have to put yourself out there. Like, I didn't get to do this job just by being a wallflower, for sure. Like, I bugged, you know, and bugged, and I still bug to get to do things. Like, you have to, people just are not going to assume you want to do it, because it really is like 50-50 for who wants to be in front of camera and who doesn't. And I think it's the same in the salon world. Like, I have stylists at my salon that are not interested in it at all, but they love it if I get little tidbits that they're comfortable with. Same with stylists, right? Like, stylists, same with clients. They're not always gonna want to be on camera. Like, I have clients that wanna come in their gym clothes. I'm not gonna make them feel uncomfortable by taking a bunch of content of them. If it's something that I'm like gearing my business towards, then I'm going to either do stuff like this or do model days at the salon where I can, you know, bring people in. And if you're working at a salon where the salon owner isn't really interested in doing this stuff, then hit them up and ask if you can take that piece of it. Like, I love that. Like, I have some girls sometimes that are like, hey, I'm building, can I help with social media? And I'll, you know, give them a discount on rent. Like, there's things that owners can do to help both. Like, it's good for me if they're making content, and if they want to do that and I can help them out in another way and the content's good, then great. So same with working backstage. Like, Unite needs the content. We want the content. That's why we're there. So if you're willing to do it and you're good at it, then great. And another easy way to get when you're backstage, if you don't want to get all dressed or whatever, it's just wear the Unite shirt and do your hair and makeup. Like, it's perfect. Like, they can see the brand. We know you're working backstage. It's, easy.
Yeah, I'm looking for logos all day. So the more logos, even on your kit, if you happen to have some of our old Hot Tools or something, lay them out. And, if you really want to be on camera, the more time you can spend drawing me over to your station.
Yeah. Okay, so you could check us out. Obviously live, we're going to be on the stories and all over for Miami Swim Week. So check us out there. And then our next official live in the studio is going to be with me. And that is on Monday, June 16th at 10 a.m. It's Fix the Problem. And it's going to be all about common client challenges. So more about in salon scenarios. Everyone will be in Miami, so check out the live there. And like I said, if you have any questions or anything about how I run Prim and Proper's, salon socials, or if you're looking to get into a specific area of social media, I'm for sure no expert in some of these things, but I do know a lot of people who are, so I have picked up a little bit of knowledge here and there. So if I can help in any way, feel free to, comment on this video, send me a DM Unite TV. And so, thanks for tuning in.